up, everybody? Charlie B back in the building. Y'all didn't tell me I missed the Resurrection Ranch. What's going on? Okay. Everybody welcome. So guess what? That means we back. You feel what I'm saying? Now Megan, it's your turn for me to do you like I did Tim. Foot in mouth syndrome. You about to lie about this RV so hard. But Tim was on here the first time talking about off-grid peace. Off-grid peace. And then he couldn't even get the converter to work, right? So since that was an embarrassment to Tim and his ego, he said, you go. Y'all remember them little cards and you go. Anyway, he sent you out there to break it down that basically Charlie B was right? And you're still going to lie because that thing still won't support everything you say. So let's get it, let's go. You know Charlie B don't waste your time. Let's proceed.
What is up, Resurrection Ranch family? Today I'm going to talk about the nitty-gritty, the good, the bad, and the ugly about living in our first resurrection camper that we named Happy Camper.
Now Peanut came through this whole show, she gonna break this camper down, right? Now I ain't gonna hear really no good. Y'all tell me if y'all hear any good. But all I'm gonna hear is the bad and the ugly. Let's proceed.
Because I was asked, what was, it like living off grid, or what was the most difficult thing about living off grid?
What's the most biggest thing that was difficult with you living off grid? In that little box with all them boys? Tim?
And honestly, there were some challenging things about living off grid. And we're gonna go head to our first resurrection camper, Happy Camper, because it is an off-grid beast. It made it possible for us to live off-grid.
He's lying to y'all because allegedly Tim went and bought a 5,000 watt generator to support all y'all stuff. But they want you to believe they was running phasers and everything with this thing. No, they weren't. What'd I do? Offer Tim $5,000 if he can prove it? Have I had to pay this man? Has his lawyer called me? No. He can't prove it without that Predator generator he bought from Harbor Freight. Oh, show a lady.
But like I mentioned in some previous videos, it does not have a lot of frills and amenities, but it does its job well. So we're going to talk about what the challenges are to living off grid and how we were able to do it in our Happy Camper, which is our first resurrection camper.
Okay, y'all, this is where I'm going with this. I let her say all that for this reason. By the time we get done with this, they call it Happy Camper, right? Y'all gonna be out here like, Charlie B, they should have called that thing the struggle bus. And she's gonna try to make so much light out of this toilet. And I gotta let her talk, y'all. Oh, I gotta let her talk because there is no way that this is fact and this is true. She's just making it look good so she could sell this thing, allegedly. This is a mess, man. And when I say mess, wait till she start talking about this toilet.
Here it is, y'all. This is Happy Camper. We named it that because it really is for someone who is content just camping, because it does the off-grid things so well.
I love when you blatantly lie to your people and tell them how good this thing does, and you're about to get on this camper and say how much work it is to get it to do what you say it does, and allegedly it doesn't do it. It doesn't do what you say it does. But you still took all this time to say all this. For what reason, Megan? Tim told me to, Charlie B. Okay, it's cool then. It's your husband.
Also, it helped us to get established here on this property like Jesus was leading us to do. And he says that blessed is the man that is planted by the tree of the water, and blessed is the man who doesn't listen to the counsel of the ungodly. And so,
did y'all catch it? Did y'all catch what she just said? I'll wait. Okay, Tim calls us Satan, right? Peanut game, is he watching us in our comments, right? So did your wife just say, if that's how you really feel, Tim, and you feel like we're ungodly, you're still listening to us. So thank your wife for telling everybody that you're not blessed, sir. Charlie B in the building. On one. Hit that like button and that share button. Let's go. Let's proceed, man.
Another translation for blessed is happy. And so this camper, the scripture for this camper comes from Psalms 1. So we're gonna head in.
Okay, Megan, no jokey joke right here. You give idols a name. You even just gave it a scripture. Okay? What's going on here, y'all? Is this worshiping idols? Yes or no? Yes or no? And we already proved allegedly to your wife you're not blessed. So the first thing she said, like you said about Christianity, I don't believe he said that. Anyway, we about to proceed and go on with this because she about to get to this raggedy door and then we gonna talk about it.
And y'all, this is really not fair because even though I'm going to talk about some of the challenges, we got this door, we're going to fix that. Even though I'm going to talk about some of the challenges like that door, no, we'll fix that. It wasn't like that before.
Okay. Let's just talk contractor talk for a minute. It didn't used to act like that, you know why? Because either your frame is bent or all that stuff Tim took off and then put back and rebuilt and everything isn't working. And it's off. Somewhere y'all pulling that thing and moving that thing, it just shifted. And it's off. That's why the door is getting stuck now. Wasn't like that before. What caused it to get that way? It's a bow somewhere. Or it's a warp somewhere from water. In the game, ask anybody you know in this field. Yes or no. What's wrong, Lil Woo? Anyway, let me go check on this dog. Let's proceed.
First things first, y'all, I'm going to talk about the compost toilet. Now, you would think that this would be my most challenging thing about living off grid, and although it did take a learning curve in order to be able to use this compost toilet, I actually really enjoyed it.
Okay, no jokey joke right here. Do y'all really believe that she enjoyed this thing after she went from moving from a house with a flushing toilet all the time and from an RV with a flushing toilet all the time? Now with the RV is different because Tim was just too lazy to take it to a site where he could empty it, and he made it look bad. So now she's trying to say that this whole thing was perfect for them after you just went and did your thing and hit the little thing and never had to worry about nothing. You want us to believe that, oh, this was cool, but you still talking about all the challenges like you do on your walking talks. I love what I'm doing, but sometimes it's just a struggle. It's just a challenge listening to God and listening to... No, it's a struggle and challenge you listening to Tim, allegedly.
The most challenging thing about the compost toilet was just emptying it. You had to stay on top of emptying it, especially for the number one. So the pee container was small, so you really had to be on top of emptying it, especially with little ones. I had little ones that would go to the bathroom during the night, so I would have to make sure first thing in the morning that I empty the pee container, because after all my little boys went to the bathroom at night, it was full. And I'm just gonna say it like this: mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. Why don't you just say they peed on the floor? Y'all peed on the floor, right? Now, you want everybody to believe that that's better than you just flushing the toilet, because a fifth wheel had a flush toilet too. Next.
This is why I'll show you one of the things I did to kind of get around some of those issues with having it overflow. Okay, so as you can see, it's lined with a black trash bag. So it's fallen down a little bit over time, but I had literally lined this entire space and tacked up on the walls and everywhere around black trash bags just in case. And I did it so that it was kind of like it came up on the edges so that if there was a spill, if the pee container overflowed, it would literally be caught. Like it would, like a cup. It would hold any excess urine until I could get it and clean it up. And it was...
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this right now. If me and Miss B was in that situation, she wouldn't be the only one getting that pee. We wouldn't be in that situation. But my whole point is this. I had to clean it up. I'ma just say this. I bet you we be taking turns cleaning that up. Miss B wouldn't be the... I got it last time, bruh. So you was on latrine duty? I think that's what it's called. You was on latrine duty too. When y'all was going and dumping all y'all's poop, was he making you pour in the metal can and y'all pouring gas in there and burning it up like they did in the war? Come on, man. Dude. Latrine duty Megan. Latrine duty Megan. Get that duty Megan. Yeah. No. Whole show a legend, man. I'm done, man. She got to do all the farm chores. And thank you, Megan, for telling everybody I was on poop duty too. Whole show a legend, man.
Not, for the most part, it was not leaking and getting on the wood. So it took a while before I figured out how to do that. But, or that, I needed to do that. I had, like I said, mistakes were made. Had to figure it out. But we did finally figure that out. So I was still working diligently to try and empty it on time. But sometimes, I made mistakes. Mistakes were made.
Do y'all see what I'm saying? Charlie B, she never said, B10, these B10 people. Charlie B, she never said Tim never helped her get none of that stuff. She just said it. That I had to get it and mistakes were made. Keyword. Not we had to get it. Tim's favorite word when he ain't even helping. She didn't use we right there when she's the only one getting all this stuff up this year. No. So technically, Charlie B is right, even though I have to say allegedly she is on poop duty. Okay? Y'all get it? Poop duty. Y'all like that one? Was that a petty time? All right, let's proceed.
Even here, I put some trash back here because of spills that would happen there with my little boys. But yeah, so I figured out all the wood.
I love when you keep it real, man. All the spills with my little boys. Yeah, cause Tim, that's how he act, like a little boy. You know Tim peed all over that thing allegedly.
It needed to be covered in trash bags that I could clean if there was a mistake made. But that was the big deal, was really with the pee container. We obviously, with the number 2 with the compost, we would empty it after each person would go to the bathroom. So
okay, now I don't even have to ask y'all to ask anybody else. Okay, we've all had 5-gallon buckets or mop buckets, right? The way she has that set up and everything, she's not taking all that out of there if there's urine on it. She said she cleaned it. Okay, can I ask y'all a question? Was urine running up under that bucket? And was she, every time she seen drops of pee down there, was she removing all that and cause that's not what she said. No. She said, "I just clean it." Like when Benjamin was on the potty so long, his butt suction cup to it and he stood up and all the pee spilled and you said, "I just cleaned it." So how long are you leaving that pee stained stuff down there? And do you have to wait till somebody poops to get the urine that's in run up under the bucket? Boom. Now, let me just ask you this, y'all, Peanut Gang. They're about to explain to you that every time somebody takes a poop in this thing, they have to go dump it. So since Megan's on latrine duty, if a little boy take a poop at 3 o'clock in the morning, is Megan the one taking it out? 9 times out of 10, allegedly. If Tim takes a dump, Tim, please tell me you taking your own turds outside, allegedly. Please, bro. That would be a shame to be like, hey, that need to be done. But allegedly, from where we are, and we know how you act, it'll probably be about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're editing, and you gotta take a dump, right? I'm busy, girl. Can you go get that for me? Whole show, would y'all do it?
That was fine. It's just something that you had to be on top of. So even though that was something that you had to be on top of, actually I preferred that to our fifth wheel that had a flushing toilet and a big huge septic tank.
You know Charlie B break it down before it gets broke down. Now listen, Megan, you think it was bad because Tim had you emptying that stuff out in totes, and I don't know where he was taking it to dump it, but he had you emptying out in totes when y'all had that fifth wheel. Allegedly, narcissist. How can I make her hate this thing so we can get rid of it? Play and poop, allegedly, right? So y'all was filling up totes, putting poop in totes, and then Tim was taking it and dumping it, okay? Now, this is back when y'all's money was funny, when y'all first started out, allegedly, right? So, if Tim would have just hooked it up and drug it out of there and took it to a waste station, you would have never had to deal with that, Megan. So, for you to say that composting stuff is better than what you had, no. Tim just didn't want to spend the gas money, and he made you want to think that every time that y'all had to empty that, or maybe even just you, and Tim drug it off, because you have all the chores, right? Back then, before the boys could do anything, you had all the chores. So you was emptying the poop in this thing, he was dragging it off allegedly, right? You would hate that fifth wheel. I understand now why you let him get that $200 camper. Peanut Gang, do y'all see what he did to her? Every step of the way is a mind fart, right? And she just, my mind got it, Tim. I done sucked it all up. How I smell, girl? Like juices and berries. Okay, if y'all were allegedly dumb enough to let a man think, to tell you, okay, septic tank filling up, go empty that poop so I can drag it off. Now this is probably 4 or 5 days worth of poop that's just been stewing, right? With pee, urine and everything, right? Now, could somebody talk you into a composting toilet where you just gotta not have as much smell at all, nowhere near? It's still gonna stink, but you just go dump it. See where she's going with this and how he manipulated her on all this poop thing when it was easy as hooking it up, pulling it with your truck to a waste station, and dumping it with the hose. You feel me, y'all? Yes or no? Y'all come in and tell me. They didn't have to do all that tote carrying. Now, let her talk about it.
Because it was so much cleaner and easier to work with the peat moss and the compost than it was with the sewage. okay, that would come out.
Did you see her face? Wait. Did you see her face? Sewage. Sewage. I'd have hated that thing too. Yes or no? Come here and let me know. Jump back. Easy as just taking it and dumping it, Tim. Your wife would have never had to deal with that. You feel me? Now, let's get to how they was doing it.
You know, put the sewage in one of those travel totes and then take it somewhere and empty it. And y'all, that thing was heavy after we emptied the tank. And we
okay. They was just carrying loads of heavy poop and dumping it somewhere. Okay, now we gonna get into the part where Tim wanted all these people to come down. Allegedly, he didn't rent no porta potties or nothing. Just go in the RV and do your thing. And they flooded it. I'm not saying nothing, Megan. Tell them about how they didn't know to push the pedal down or wait.
will also overflow that tank because sometimes the pedal would stick on the toilet, and if we had visitors to the farm that at that time we had farm gates open and we had visitors, and sometimes a visitor would come in to break and use the bathroom and they didn't know that you had to make sure that pedal was up, and so we've overflown those tanks as well, and that was not fun at all.
I want to so bad. No joke. Jokey joke. Okay, so you meaning to tell me, okay, with all your talks with God, and you talk to God like he's on the phone, you said, right? He never told you before you invited all them people down there to help you. Remember all the kids and everything, their parents there, everybody was there? He never told you needed porta potty, sir. Okay, now let's go here. Is that why you stopped everybody coming down there? Because you would have to invest some money in a place where they could poop, and you was tired of having poop all on your floor? I don't feel sorry for you. You know why? And this is why I said I was going no jokey joke at first. Cut the laughter off, Charlie Bizzle. I'm going to jokey joke right here. Because all that septic water is draining down into the pigs and that farm fresh meat you got that they wallow in, teach his own. I'm happy you had to clean that up. And your trailer smell like where your animals are. Next. Oh, show it later. Then sooner or later you get back what you giving out. Facts.
Okay, gotta get to my second thing. Here it is. This tank, this little tank here, was the most challenging thing for me. Living off grid, y'all. This tank, I overflowed this tank multiple times.
Okay, no jokey joke. I overflowed this thing so many times. Why? Y'all want to know why? Because allegedly she was the only one filling it. Okay? Now, let's jump back a little bit. You remember the show I did where she was all dirty and stuff and she went in there and got cleaned up, but she accidentally overflowed the tank and then he made her get up under there and do something? You remember that show? Okay, so what does Tim actually do? What does he actually do? Your woman's already clean from already helping you with farm chores and everything or whatever she was doing. But as a man, you gonna tell her to take her clean self out there. As your woman, I don't know, but I'm just talking from my experience. She just got out the tub, everything smelling all good, glistening, and you gonna sit up here and send her up under your trailer? Miss B would have told me. It's just gonna be wet in here, bro. I just washed that. Yes or no? Yes or no? You supposed to be her man, not her master. Because allegedly, it's starting to seem like either you running one or two things out there. As I call it, cultish. Or it's a plantation. Right? Right? So if your money get really up, are you gonna start inviting BTN members out there to live with y'all? Cause jump back, I got a show where you said you was gonna have all these cabins and stuff out there in the field. Did you forget that? And you was talking about bringing kids and stuff out there back then, but is that the place for your cult members to sit up back in the day? Did you already have this figured out, bro? Y'all want to see that show? I got it. Yeah, we have all these cabins and everything out here and blah, blah, blah. Now, like I said before earlier today, Jim Jones, he had a following. He had a church. Marilyn Manson, he had a desert. And a couple buildings and everything that people was staying in. Now, I'm not saying that this is going that far. But what I'm saying is, take it for what you want it. Jim Jones and Marilyn Manson were what? Crazy. Right? So if we can all agree that they're crazy, and then we can all agree allegedly that Tim has some of these traits from both of these men, and I hope from my show earlier, y'all went back and watched a couple of Marilyn Manson's interviews where he laughs. Sounds just like Tim, allegedly. Sounds just like Tim. Especially when he thinks he says something that's intelligent. Pay attention. Let's proceed. Oh, show alleged.
To fill it to this certain spot here, but you couldn't fill it past it. And I would get distracted, and multiple times I would look away and I would overflow the tank because, I couldn't pay attention for the 20 or 30 minutes that it took, or it might have been 15. I can't remember how long. But yeah, I overflowed the tank accidentally here multiple times. Yeah.
No jokey joke right here. Okay, Megan, whether it's scripted or it's not, or this is your true talk right here about this. If you can't pay attention about water, bam! Is that why homeschool is over by lunch? Because your attention span is so short. And the boys, they're young, they're children. I know their attention span is short, allegedly. Right? So, is that why you just agree with them at any given point to, can we do vocational homeschool? Or can we go watch dad do so-and-so? I'm kind of getting tired of this too. Y'all want a ticket to go see your daddy and do vocational school? Jump back, y'all remember all that? I think they proved that they could come out here with their daddy and be. Y'all remember all that? Okay. Now, did she just admit her attention span is so short that she can't even manage to get the water to a certain level? But as a would you want your children's teacher to tell you, you go to see them and they tell you you be like, what's little Johnny doing? And she tell you, I really don't know. I got 32 kids and my attention span really ain't that long, so. What? Should anybody with a short attention span be teaching children? Would you want a teacher teaching your children that has a short attention span? Yes or no? Peanut Gang, you tell me. I'm not saying nothing. I'm asking the question because this is my opinion. I know I wouldn't want one. Oh, like my man say, if it is, I ain't seen one that I would accept.
That was the most challenging thing for me about being off-grid was keeping that tank full. We had to fill it up a couple times a day. It only did one shower for each of us, which was great because we could shower with just one fill up of the tank. But then for washing dishes and then the other little things we would do, we would have to fill it up. So that tank got filled up multiple times a day. And so that was challenging for me. It's just.
Hey, let me break this down to y'all. That thing's an off-grid beast, right? Okay, Megan, if it's an off-grid beast and people are dragging this thing around places and stuff like that, and you have to fill that water tank up that much to keep up, most people, wherever they go with that. If it's an off-grid beast, you was going up the hill to get water and bringing it down and filling it up. How does an off-grid beast get water off-grid if you don't have a system up the road like you did on your property, right? And you said it was still a hassle. So how much is it going to be a hassle trying to live off grid in that thing and you have no water supply? Bim, bim, bim. Y'all sound stupid. Whole show is, that part is not alleged.
One of those things, probably for most people, that would be fine. It wouldn't be challenging. You're just filling a water tank. I'm not sure why. It was just a thing for me, but it's, you know, it was one of those things that I never really got used to, but we did it. And so,
point proven, right? That's one of the things that that's one of the things that I never really got used to. Okay, if it's an off-grid beast making, right? How is somebody else supposed to get used to it when you couldn't get used to it and jump back like Charlie B and said and Peanut Gang no? You was tapped in the city water and had that up the street, right? Or well water or something. It was running, flowing constantly, right? But you had a struggle, and that was worse than that toilet. And y'all had water. Fresh enough water, you wouldn't drink it, but it was fresh enough for y'all to wash y'all's dishes in and bathe in. I wouldn't have did that either. But go back to the one show I did when they was moving the metal and stuff. Yeah, anyway. But the whole point is, you struggle with that thing and you have water on your property. You telling everybody this thing's an off-grid beast and they could be off-grid and all this? No, they can't. Where are they going to get fresh water from?
and this is our solar panel, I guess, reader or module here.
Okay, you know I'm the man when it comes to turning all this on if the lights is off, right? So you really going, I love this part. I'm loving it. Give me a double quarter pounder with bacon on the top bun, the bottom bun ain't in the middle, and then put 2 pieces of cheese in between each pieces of bacon. Charlie B be eating, don't he? But this is the point. My whole thing is this. This will not work. All the stuff she's about to tell y'all, even though she's gonna tell you, you can make it work just with some work running around with this little probably 150 watt solar panel that ran our freezers and everything. Y'all ask anybody, if you have a solar panel with a regular car battery, can you run, even with a converter, a deep freezer all day? I don't care if you chase the sun around or not. Ask them if that'll work. Next.
This was the third most challenging thing about living off grid was working with a solar system, and there were some things that would go wrong with this system sometimes. Sometimes, you know, it wasn't sunny and it wouldn't charge and we didn't have as much solar power. Sometimes these little things, because our bed was here, and we had a mattress that was just butted up against these wires. If we put pressure in the wrong place on the bed, a wire would pop loose here, and we would.
If the RV is rocking, don't come a knocking. We already know that's where you made Benjamin. You wasn't getting no power because you was rocking that bed while you bought there. Wasn't no slow love making with him, allegedly. I don't know. I wasn't there. Didn't see anything. I'm just sitting up here trying not to imagine it in my mind and trying to make it funny on how them cords fell out of there and you gotta screw them down. You put it in there and you screw it down. So how much was that mattress moving around? And don't look at the microphone for influence. Whole show legend. We all grown in here. My show say not for kids. If you ain't grown, don't watch it.
Would think that we were charging and we weren't charging, but overall, especially once we figured out that we could operate our deep freezer from our solar, this worked really well for us. We're in Mississippi, so we do often have sunny days, but we were like chasing the sun around the yard with the panel.
I think I need to not jokey joke and break this down right now for y'all. All right, there is no way You could take that little solar panel, hook it to a battery, and run a deep freezer. You know why? Because it has a regular cord on it like your TVs or anything else, right? So technically, you have to hook up a converter to that, right? The converter draws juice on its own, right? Now, I'm not going to bet you 10 because I've never tried to run a deep freezer like that. So with me and my knowledge, I only bet on things I know. But I'll tell you this. I want y'all to ask anybody who uses stuff like this, because I just have them in my car and stuff, and my car be running constantly when I do use it. So it's not a factor for me to realize, because I'm not killing my battery in my car to see how long it takes. No. But my whole thing is this. I bet you with what I have run before, and when I did first start this, I have turned my car off and would run out every like 20 minutes to start it. You feel me? But if you overdo it and that battery dies, okay. Now with what I was running, and I've had a battery die like that from the car because it was off and I had that box into it, right? Now you need that box to plug that cord into it because it has the outlets, right? A deep freezer would probably run at the max with his deep cycle battery that's for an automobile with no alternator hooked to it, no more than an hour. I'm going to give it an hour, and that's probably peanut game. Some of y'all going to be like, I wouldn't give it that, Charlie B. Them little converter hooked to a regular car battery with no alternator, and you can plug up. Did y'all see that real big deep freezer that they took to the dump? That old deep freezer that wasn't energy efficient like our appliances now. That real old deep freezer he pulled out of there. That's where they used to keep their meat. So it just sucked juice. Since I remember that, it wouldn't run 20 minutes, sir. Whole show alleged, but that part isn't.
So it took some work. Nothing was just easy about living off-grid. It was doable, it was possible, and that's why we love Happy Camper, our first resurrection camper, because it made all these things possible off-grid. It made going to the bathroom possible off-grid. It made showering possible and washing dishes possible off-grid. It made having a freezer to keep our food in and being able to charge our phone and having lights possible off-grid, but it meant a lot more work on the...
No jokey joke again. I don't know about you, but making something possible to do, and it was easier living off grid in this thing because we could shower, we could poop, we could pee, we could do all that. It was easier with this thing. No, she just said it was possible. Jump back to what I just said. It was possible. Why? Y'all had meat on the farm that y'all could slaughter and eat. Y'all had water up the road, okay? Now, for you to tell somebody that this thing is off grid and they want to take it off grid and live like a nomad, if they really believe you, they are in a world of trouble. You feel me? And let's just be honest. For everything for you to expect that camper to do and run, Tim needs to get up there and put a whole roof of solar panels up there and then buy some more that you can move around and then buy another bigger solar system to put in that thing for you to even accomplish half of what you're talking about. Okay? Do you realize there's RVs? Full RVs, I'm talking panels all the way across the top, right? And they'll straight tell you, I can run this whole RV, washing clothes and everything, for 2 days if I have major sun. Right? Right? That's with everything being off. And that's with the biggest RV you could buy, panels all the way across the top. If it rains for 2 days, look it up. It's all on YouTube. We got about 1.5, 2 days to run everything and still wash clothes and do all this. Right? So with that 150 watt solar panel, there is no way you can do possibly everything you say you could do. Who's ever looking at this, if you see Charlie B show, they're lying to you. Do not invest your money in this. You would be better off getting you a tent with an air conditioning outlet and port and going somewhere that has electric hookup. Don't try to be doing this nomad, whatever, off-grid beast mode mess they talking about. Because beast mode and dry bones is just a racket they running still. Also alleged.
We had an inverter where we could actually plug in a regular household plug, and we could use the solar that way, but you know, you had to be on top of it, and you only had a certain amount of time before you would drain the battery with the.
Megan, you're getting just like Tim. You shot all that to say basically the inverter won't work before a short period of time. You're not going to tell them how long it's going to work, are you? No, because the whole point is, you know, it's not going to work long, and you cannot run a deep freezer off of that inverter and a battery with no alternator. Ask anybody. Ask anybody. Okay, just put it to him like this. Charlie B has a 3,000 watt inverter in his trunk. If anything goes wrong, he needs to charge up. If he's camping, because here I ain't got to worry about it unless I'm in the dark for about 5 days. But my whole point is this. Ask anybody if he takes that 3,000 watt converter and turns it on, because it has an off and on switch. The car don't have to be running, it's hooked straight to the battery, right? Now, if Charlie B cuts that on in his car, and he turns on a 1994 biggest deep freezer you could buy, how long will it run? And will he be able to go start his car in 30 minutes? They're going to tell you no, it's going to cut off before 30 minutes, and his battery going to be dead, and he's going to need a jump. That's why this thing is a piece of crap. They know it. And let me just bring you up to speed. Boom, boom, boom. If this thing was so perfect for y'all to live in for 9 months, why do y'all have to do so much work to it now just to sell it? Because you had your kids, Tim, and your wife living in a dump, allegedly. Because now you know won't nobody buy it the way it is, as is. So, if you know that, what did you have your family living in if you know you can't even get $1 for that thing unless y'all fix it up?
Inverter, and so yeah, it took some work, but all these challenges were overcome by having the systems that we had in Happy Camper. And yeah, so it's not even fair, y'all. Even though this was a video about the nitty gritty and the challenges, I really feel like Happy Camper did such a great job. I mean,
I played all that for this reason. Megan, hate to do this, but I'm going to give you a piece. Happy Camper didn't do no type of good job. I'm going to give you your piece right here. You made Happy Camper work. Yes or no, ladies? Men too. I don't care. Anybody who see this and they heard all this stuff we've been watching and viewing about how hard she works and how he had her crawling up under that thing when she overflowed it and all that. She made it work. It wasn't a good thing. So whoever buys this thing, if you ain't willing to put in as much work as Megan, you might as well call it a day and go buy you something else.
The best that you could expect for a small off-grid camper, it really made it possible to get to this door. There you go. It really made it possible to live off-grid, and although it took a little bit of extra work to get some of the systems that we were so accustomed to, it all happened. It was all possible. And yeah, so those are the challenges. Not everything about living off-grid or working towards your goals is going to be easy.
I ain't gonna ask you want me to. Bim. You wanna know the funny thing? Living off-grid, Megan, okay. Y'all were all off-grid, right? Y'all had a power pole. And y'all was tapped into the city water and was paying electricity and a water bill. How off-grid is this, guys? And until you had your power pole, you went and bought a 5,000 watt Predator generator. Jump back. Already said this, right? So, how much off-grid living were you really doing with that solar panel? You're lying to people. And whoever buys that thing, go ahead and buy it. Go ahead and buy it. Use it for one day. And sue the pants off of them, allegedly. Because everything is online that they said this thing is going to do. And if you buy it, it's false advertisement and everything like that. And just go to court and say, why did you trust in him? He's a man of God. Pay the man. Whole show later.
But if you can establish a system that makes it possible and you can continue that system over time, sometimes it does get easier when you get used to that system. But all in all, if you can do it and do it for a period of time and make it doable for you and your family, then that is a plus, especially if it gets you towards your goal. So that's it, y'all.
Getting like Tim, she round talking. Did y'all catch what she said? Y'all catch what she said? Basically, allegedly, did she just say, yes, it was a struggle and all that, but who cares as long as they get you to your goal? What is their goal? Money. He started repairing that mobile home. That's when his stuff started going through the roof. That's when people started coming over, right? Now, with that being said, he knew what to do to scam Megan. So if he knew what to do to scam somebody he claims he loves more than anything on the planet, his wife. Who are y'all? Who are y'all? He scammed y'all. What did Megan just say? Where did them living in that raggedy trailer get them today? Like Megan said, it was worth it. Charlie be out. Y'all be easy. Love y'all. And y'all know before y'all probably get up in the morning, these shows were so bad, so where we gotta go? Yeah, I get up at 4:30. I got y'all.